Warahmatullahi Ta'ala Wabarakatuh. How are you today? I hope that you are doing well. So for this week, we're gonna have class online, asynchronous. That means we don't have a live session. So I have recorded this video for you to study, and also I recorded the audio, okay, in my phone, so that you can listen to the audio part, okay. For those who have a problem with the internet connection or not enough data, so I hope that this helps students to learn more about the critical thinking. Okay, for this week we're gonna discuss on chapter 5, critical thinking. Okay, before that, let's start with Al-Fatiha. Bismillah. Okay, class. If you can remember last week, we have an online class, okay, but in a different way, okay. So each group need to produce a video, 3 to 5 minutes, discuss about the topics in thinking style from Islamic or Western perspective. So I think some of you guys done discussion on this chapter 2, I mean this topic, critical thinking, and we have another topic next week, inshallah, on creative thinking. So I hope this session, okay, will increase your knowledge on the critical thinking, okay, even though some of you have listened to your friends' video, okay. So before we start, I want to show you about this. What is this? Okay, this is the wooden block that, okay, sometime some people play with their friends, okay. We call it as Jengga, okay, a wooden block, okay, that was arranged in a way of as a building, okay. So I think you know how we want to play it, like we just put any blocks, we need to choose it first. For example, like the the end one, this is the easiest one, so we take it one and we'll move it on the top. So when it get higher, I think it's quite challenging and make us nervous, and this is how we need to think critically about the problems, okay. So I put it here first. So now let's start. So class, critical thinking, okay, what we're going to learn is, okay, first we're going to look at the definition, what is critical thinking. Second is what is the characteristic of critical thinking or critical thinker, the person. And then how to be critical and what is the obstacle, okay, and how we can apply the critical thinking in our daily life. Especially in viewing, okay, surfing, reading and listening. So this is what we call it, the activities that we always what we call it, activities that we go through in our daily life, yeah. Okay, we look at many things, okay, we surf the internet, we read the book, and we listen to the outside world or the inside world, okay. So the definition, okay, of course, is critical thinking is a mental process or is a thinking activity, as we know, but for what? For analyzing or evaluate the argument, the problems, or the ideas in an objective way. For example, like I show you the Jengga block, okay. We need to, okay, we need to evaluate each idea or each problems, okay, before we make any decision, okay, and we search for the truth. Either we, is that okay for us to take one block and put it on the top part, okay, it will, does it will be very stable or not, okay. So it's like to make an intelligent decision about what to do and believe and what not to believe, okay. So actually critical thinking is good for creativity because, okay, it helps us to develop our intellectual and personality, okay. So we know that critical thinking actually involves providing logical support for our belief and opinion, and of course it will help us to become more creative, okay. So there are three characteristics of critical thinker. So what are critical thinker personality or attitude? Okay, first they must have the questioning attitude, okay. For example, like we have the Jengga block, okay, we must ask the question, either when we move this block, okay, you will make all others block falling or not, okay. And then good analytical skill, that means we analyze, okay, each idea or each solution that we want to take and distinguish between what is good and what is not, okay. So another characteristic, especially for the person itself, okay, you must be a very open-minded person, okay, listen to other people's idea, okay, and then study all the facts and evidence before you judge and making any decision, and recognize, respect, and may accept other people's view, and of course, approach the issue in a systematic and organized manner, okay. And what um, not to do, okay, not to do, okay, if you want to become a critical thinker. So there are some barriers, okay. Please don't be biased and prejudiced, okay. Please put your egocentrism aside, okay. Peer pressure, sometimes we feel very pressure uh, about our friends' perception, so that's limit our capacity to become a critical thinker, okay. Narrow-mindedness, closed-mindedness, okay, stereotyping, and your fear of change, okay. So I think this kind of thing we have discussed a lot in a previous lesson, okay. So now we move to four types of critical thinking activities, okay. So what kind of activities that we always use a critical thinking, or actually we should use critical thinking, okay, apply it in our daily life. So first is critical reading, okay. When you read the notes, okay, the books and so on, you must be critical, okay, before make any judgment or giving opinion. And then critical viewing, okay. For example, like when you look at something like this phone, okay, you must be very critical, okay, on the design, on the picture, image, and so on, okay. And then critical surfing, when you surf the internet and you look at the news, everything, okay, you read something on the social media, so you must be critical. And lastly is critical listening, okay. When you listen to something, especially on many issue right now, for example like COVID-19, we are currently have PKPB in Malaysia Peninsula, except for some states, okay. So there are many rumors, okay. You will hear from many people, so you must be very critical on analyzing their opinion. Okay, let's go. Number one is critical reading. First is how we apply the critical reading is to make important distinction, okay. So we must know how to differentiate the First is the person and the idea. Okay, who are talking about it and what is the idea? Okay, and then test and judgment. Okay, what are we are feeling about that idea? Okay, and how is our judgment? Okay, what we feel and what we think about it is very different. Okay, and then the facts and interpretation. Okay, you must differentiate between the facts and interpretation. For example, like the election, okay, for previous election in Sabah and upcoming election in Batu Sapi. So there are some facts in it. Okay, why we need to do an election, but how people interpret it. Okay, so people quite worry about the COVID-19 and so on. So they have their different interpretation, either positive or negative. And then literal and ironic statement. Okay, this means literal is something very direct, but ironic statement is opposite the statement. And then we go to ideas validity and its expressive quality. People can write many ideas on the newspaper and so on, but either the idea is valid and have a quality or not. Okay, and next is language and reality. Okay, how the what we call it olahan. Okay, language used uh, in the article and the reality. Is that different or is that the same? Okay, so critical reading actually will help us to be more confident, okay, in giving opinion or writing opinion. Okay, especially for your assignment. Okay, you need to compare between the two articles. Okay, so you need to check either from the idea is the same or not. Okay, how was the fact presented in the article. Okay, does the idea is valid or not, and how to express it in the real life. Okay, so later you need to summarize the articles and giving your opinion after you read the article. So it will show either you apply the critical reading or not. Okay, so you can make a discussion and comparison for these two articles for the assignment. Okay, based on this, okay, guideline. Okay, so there are some strategy for critical reading. Okay, for example, like you have an article, or you have a book chapter. Okay, article. So there are some strategy. For example, okay, we go through to the first step. Okay, first is skim. Okay, skim the article. Okay, for example, okay, I got this article. It's about garis panduan untuk moderator sesi selari dan pengacara majlis. So sometimes we don't have much time to read a lot of articles. So first is you need to skim. You just look at it first, and then you just look at the title. Okay, you skim it and you found the very important idea. Like first is the title. Okay, and then you reflect. Okay, reflects mean, okay, after you skimming first, okay, to quickly get the main idea about the sesi selari pengacara majlis, okay, garis panduan moderator. So you reflect, okay, what is this article about? Okay, does it present the same thing like the topic? Okay, then you need to read it. Okay, read. Okay, and you can highlight. Okay, put underline on the important ideas. Okay, and then you evaluate it. Either the ideas or writing is very clear, or there are some questions you need to ask, or what is your judgment about? Is that this article is very high quality or low quality? Okay, is the article really explain about the guidelines and so on? And then you express your judgment. Okay, fully judgment on what you have read, okay, explaining clearly where you disagree with the author. In this case, okay, for example, like this article, you find that there are some picture that's not help you to understand the point or the instruction. So you need to ask the authors, okay? Not ask other people, but ask the authors. Okay. So, for example, like maybe some of you have read this book and about Luqmanul Hakim adalah Socrates berkulit hitam or Alexander adalah Zulkarnain. So, what is your opinion? Is that true? Okay. Is that the book written in the right way, in a proper manner? Okay. It has its facts or it just interpretation from the authors. Okay, so reading activities, okay, we have a lot of field and we read a lot of materials. So some materials come from science background, okay, social science, okay, history and so on. So they might need a different kind of what we call it questioning technique or strategies, okay, because the materials itself have a different um, presentation. Okay, for example, like in life, medical and physical sciences, like chemistry student, okay, usually we must prepare to spend more time for studying because there are a lot of scientific information, theories, ideas, and principles that we need to understand. Okay, for example, like industrial chemistry, and we learn about the molar quantity and so on. Okay, so learn scientific notation system like symbol and signs, and then there are some terminology. Of course, there are many terminology actually. Okay, prefixes, suffixes, and root of term. Okay. For social science and history, okay, there are lots of facts, okay, in the material. Of course, there are lots of principles, rules, and that to be memorized. And of course, we are required to read it extensively. And usually, there are some image or picture, figure like maps, graph, and charts. Okay, so you are expected to be familiar with the relevant research studies in the area of specialization, and of course to understand the theories and their theories. Okay, in humanities and liberal arts, okay, so usually the courses in literature and arts focus on the reasons, value, and interpretation of human interest and experience. And of course, we require a lot of reading and writing. And usually there are no right or wrong answer. Okay, so we must use our feelings or imagination to come out with the conclusion, and we also need to learn how to identify the theme, symbolism, motif, and character traits. Okay, so now we move to the second part, okay, on critical viewing. Okay, what is critical viewing? Critical viewing is referred to how we look at one thing, okay, the design, the image, okay, the picture like this, the cartoon, okay, how we interpret it, okay, does it true, does it represent that that Muslim is a militant, for example, okay, and of course, on critical viewing is referred to the visual communication, okay, how we communicate the idea using visual, okay. So it's include like statistical graph, advertisement, and drama, okay, film that we watch on TV, and so on. Okay, for example, like this uh, this picture, okay, it's about the US crime statistic. You can see there is a map, there is a number, and so on. So these are numbers or statistics represented by picture, drawing, graphic. Okay, it can be a figurative chart, pie chart, and bar chart. Okay. So in statistical graph, you need to concern first on the accuracy of the data. Does the data represent is correct, and yeah, is the design itself. Okay, sometimes we have a good data but we don't have a good presentation, so that's become a problem. Okay, people don't want to look at it and read it. Okay, so next is advertisement. Okay, of course I think you know about all these kind of products. So sometimes people get influenced with the advertisement because of the uh, data information from the advertisement. For example, like um, the design, okay, the numbers represent the calories, the total of calories, and so on. Okay, so advertisement we have many types. We have a static form. Okay, there's no moving. Dynamic form is a moving advertisement, and we have the commercial advertisement that's displayed on TV or radio. Okay, so of course advertisement have many information, but does it true or accurate? Okay, and then of course advertisement, uh, product advertisement, the target is to increase the numbers of buyers, okay, to encourage people to buy the product. So you must be very very careful, okay, before you make any decision to buy the product. Okay, so viewing ads critically means asking some questions. So you need to ask some questions, analyze the words, sound, and visuals. Okay, what is display on the product, and so on. Okay, so some question you need to consider is, okay, so the first one is advertisement is a product or service. Sometimes we get confused about this. Okay, does it describe the brands, okay, the name of the brand, and describe the pictures or graphic? Okay, you can criticize the picture, graphics, and information. And do you like the general design, okay, or not? And does you really need the product being advertised? Okay, do I need the product being advertised? So when you have a product, or you have look at some advertisement, please be careful asking this question first before you make any decision. Okay. So sometimes we got being critical. We've been critical at looking some picture, graphic, or image, especially design. Okay, so we might ask either the picture is too large or small, and does it contain inappropriate material? Because nowadays we look at the picture or image, there are some what we call it inappropriate materials. Okay, some design have an element that criticize Islam and show Islamophobia, like in France right now. Okay, the caricature, the designer, or the cartoonist, okay, produce a cartoon of Prophet Muhammad. This is not good, okay, because it is an appropriate material for Muslim people. Okay, so then we ask whether the picture or graphic are irrelevant to the advertisement or is relevant. Okay, so usually we critique the information on the design, like there are some missing vital points. Okay, there are not enough information, or maybe information is too much word put inside it, and then maybe the information unsubstantiated. Okay, means it's not relevant. They don't have any proof or evidence to support the idea. Okay, what else? Sometimes we critique that design is too simple, it's old-fashioned, okay, it's uninteresting, and sometimes too many colors and so on. So this kind of critical thinking will help us to produce a good or better design, okay, image or figure. Okay. Next is viewing on drama. Okay. So I think maybe some of you have watched movie like Train to Busan. Okay, so what do you like about the drama? Okay, uh, is that um, what we call it logical? It's a logical drama or movie. Okay, is that related to our current situation right now? Okay, so this kind of thing. Okay, I think maybe actually all of us and always criticize the movie or drama, and even though it's like a small factors like the what we call it, the character of the um, actor actor, and ada contohnya macam filem Pascal kan. Some people say it's a good film, some people say it's not really logic, some people say that the actor is not good in acting, and so on. Okay, so there are various types like movie, sitcom, miniseries, episodic, like Korean drama, and soap opera. So when viewing drama, you need to ask the question. Okay, so some question that you need to ask. Okay, it's like that. Is there many is the setting conducive to the plot or not, and does the story is logical? Okay, and then does drama is just for the entertainment, or it just have a very very objective uh, uh, to be what we call to be delivered. Okay, is there a message to be delivered to the audience? Okay, and some element uncalled for or irrelevant to the plot. Okay, adakah dia sesuai kan dengan elemen dengan plot dia dan sebagainya. Okay, and then you need to question. Okay, I think this is the important one. Okay, does the filmmaker have an agenda, such as certain prejudice, okay, presented in the drama, and does this agenda suitable or not, relevant or not, or timely or not? And does the drama have Islam rhetoric or an Islamic element like pornography? Okay, don't watch it. Okay, because you are a student, you need to what we call it, to take care of your heart, purify your heart. Okay, then we look at next is critical surfing. So we have reading, viewing have you viewing the advertisement, graph, image, you viewing the drama or film, and now we move to the critical surfing. For critical surfing, okay, people nowadays use the internet to communicate with others, of course, like WhatsApp, social media, Instagram, Telegram, and so on. So many use of the internet to entertain. Many users use the internet to entertain themselves. Okay, especially in the domain of video games and video clip of the performing arts, like in YouTube. Okay, so they also surf the internet to get some information through websites and blogs. So I think the critical surfing, the blending, okay, the critical viewing and also critical reading, because we view a lot, okay, the video, uh, the advertisement on our phone, and also we read a lot on the internet. Okay, there are many sources. So from critical thinking aspect, you need to determine whether the sources is information is reliable or not. Okay, and then you must know who is the people that um, become a source of information. Okay, resource person we call it. Okay, find out whether the information provided is credible, and then ask yourself if the information given is adequate or not, and apply critical thinking when reading opinion, editorials, reaction to the events. Okay, so I have one message for this part. When you surf the internet or you get information from the social media, okay, kalau tak pasti jangan kongsi. Okay, kalau tak pasti jangan kongsi. So you will not spread the fake news to other people and make the situation even worse from the what we call it, from the current situation. Okay, especially in the COVID-19 issue. Okay, our government is trying hard to stop all the fake news, so and trying hard to avoid any panics in our community. Okay, lastly is critical listening, class. Okay, so are you listen to me? That's the question. And are you think about what I'm saying? Does it true or does it not relevant to your self? So you need to think, evaluate, and question. Whatever you listen to anyone, the idea, the opinion, you need to think, evaluate, and question. Okay, whatever your friend saying, okay, whatever the thought that given by somebody, like there are many what we call it business talk. Okay, get money a lot from the what we call it um, from the MLM business, for example, and then like motivational talk. Okay, does it really fit with yourself, or even in our, does it really fit with Islamic principle? Okay, because nowadays there are many motivational talk and banyak ceramah-ceramah motivasi and untuk meningkatkan apa orang kata daya tahan kan, emosi kita jadi lagi bagus dan sebagainya kan. Sehingga kan ada juga isu yang mana apa ni, penceramah atau motivator tu melahirkan formula-formula yang mungkin boleh orang kata menyimpang daripada ajaran agama Islam. So be careful, okay, when you listen to somebody giving a motivational talk, okay, please, okay, hold with our religion, okay. And then a debate between two person, okay, a speech by a personality, okay, in any radio or TV programs. Okay, but however, we have some barriers to critical listening. Okay, for example, like I know that there are noisy, okay, at my what we call it, at the environment. Okay, so it's quite disturbing. Okay, so it's not just that. It's not just the sound from the motorcycle and Harley Davidson, the car and so on. Because this morning people go for work, but it's also come from ourselves, like close-mindedness. This become a barrier. You are selective listening. You just listen for some part, like when you have this video, okay, you are not listen from early to the end, but you just click or skip the video, okay. Okay, you are selective in listening the lecture. Are you doing that right now? So be careful. Okay, I know that. Okay, so please, if you want to skip this video, make sure, okay, you have listened to some parts. Okay, the first part, and then you can go to second part. Take a break, go to third part, and so on. Don't just to complete the lecture, you just play the video by skipping some other parts. Okay. And avoid judging the speaker instead of the message. Okay, class, some strategy for critical listening. Please put aside the preconception, the bias, your first idea, and so on. And then focus on the message, okay, what I'm trying to say, what other people trying to say. Identify key assertion and supporting information. Evaluate the message, okay. Make a preliminary judgment and ask question about unclear points. So please, if you have question, do ask me. And express your judgment. Okay, judge and include explanation for point raised by the speaker with which you don't agree. Okay, so it's like we are debating to each other. For example, like Batu Sapi election, should we have it? Okay, yes. Should we say yes or should we say no to the election in the current situation? Okay. So class, okay, there are some exercise. Okay. Just show you because I have prepared another activity for you, and I will share with you in the Telegram. So class, that's all for the critical thinking part. There are 4 activities that you need to remember. Okay, when you read, when you viewing, when you surfing the internet, and you listening to other people, please think critical and being critical. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.